Rules Committee will come to order this afternoon. The Rules Committee will consider S 524, the Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act of 2016. The rule under consideration will substitute S 524 with the House passed opioid package in an effort to bring us closer to a conference with the United States Senate. In recent years, the United States has experienced a growing and dangerous epidemic of prescription drug abuse and heroin use. It is imperative that the United States Congress listen to and hear from people back home and come to Washington, D.C. with a mission to work together, Republicans and Democrats, House and Senate, and the President, to do more that we can do to educate the public and to halt this growing threat to our nation's problem. I look forward to working swiftly to achieve this goal. I know for quite some time this has been a call from members of this committee to address this issue, and I'm pleased that we are doing so now in this week in a very thoughtful, careful, and constructive way. I would like to yield to the gentleman from Massachusetts for any opening statement he'd like to make. The gentleman's recognized.
I don't really have much of an opening statement other than to say that I think there's broad bipartisan support for the bills that we're doing, but I will point out again, as I did yesterday on the floor, that the one problem here is that the funding is not accompanying this, and I hope that we're up to the challenge to make sure that all these priorities are funded, because otherwise these great speeches and all these great kind of bipartisan moments are empty rhetoric. So I appreciate the gentleman yielding, and I yield back. And
well, gentlemen,
happy to yield.
Not prepared to give you a number, but I do, and I mean this in all sincerity, want to assure you there will be substantial funding available. This actually moves through the subcommittee that I chair on appropriations. And this has been a cause that Chairman Rogers has really led the charge on for a number of years. The President actually appeared this year at one of the annual conference he does on this event. So it's something that's a great priority to him and, frankly, to the committee. So, again, can't give you an exact figure yet, but you may disagree with other parts of the bill, and as surely anybody would. It's a massive bill, but there will be very substantial and increased resources devoted to this area.
And I appreciate that reassurance. I guess my only other concern would be that the way we're operating now, we're not going to see a appropriations bill probably until after the election.
Will the gentleman yield one more time? I don't know whether it gets to the floor, but you will certainly see it.
But
it will certainly come through the full committee, just as it did last year. And so my friends, colleagues that are on the Appropriations Committee will certainly be involved in that discussion and debate. Leadership makes a decision on the full bill itself. But, again, I think it will get quite a bit of exposure, and you will actually see it. It will be released.
Right. And I appreciate that. I guess my only point would be that this is an emergency, and I think we're already late in getting the resources to the communities that are most adversely impacted. But with that, I'll yield back.
Gentleman yields back his time. I want to thank the gentleman from Oklahoma and the gentleman from Massachusetts for their thoughtful comments to help us further understand, resolve, and work together on this issue. I would bring to the committee's attention back in July of 2014, there was a decision that I made within the Speaker of the House, and the committee authorized a House resolution which would authorize a lawsuit on behalf of the House of Representatives regarding the President's refusal to abide by the oaths of office and to faithfully execute the laws as required by the Constitution, as it dealt with spending of Obamacare, as it were. Now, 2 years later, that was in July 2014, effective today, May 12th, judge rules 4 House Republicans in Obamacare lawsuit. At the time, there was a lot of controversy. We were told by people we would not find standing with the courts. We were finding that we would lose the lawsuit. We won the standing argument and the lawsuit, and it was announced federal district judge in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Without objection, I'd like to enter this into the record.
Will the gentleman yield?
I would.
Yeah, well, I would just say to the gentleman that this certainly will be appealed, and I predict, like every other lawsuit that my friends have brought against this White House, that at the end of the day, you will not succeed. But it
Perhaps
gives me
that's
some
true, but
reassurance.
we're 2-0 right now.
You're doing great with. Yeah.
2-0. We'll take it as victory where we can. Thank you very much. I now would advise the committee that we're not going to have any testimony today. However, we are going to move directly to the motion, and I would ask the gentlewoman from North Carolina for the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the committee grant S-524, the Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act of 2016, a closed rule. The rule provides 1 hour debate equally divided among and controlled by the chairs and ranking minority members of the Committee on Energy and Commerce and the Committee on Judiciary. The rule waives all points of order against consideration of the bill. The rule provides that the amendment in the nature of a substitute consisting of the respective text of the bill specified in the resolution shall be considered as adopted, and the bill as amended shall be considered as read. The rule waives all points of order against provisions in the bill as amended. The rule provides 1 motion to commit with or without instructions. The rule directs the clerk to, informing the amendment in the nature of a substitute, assign appropriate designations, conform cross-references, and provisions for short titles, and authorizes the clerk to make technical and conforming changes. The rule provides that upon passage of S-524, the title of such bill is amended as specified in the resolution. Finally, the rule provides that if S-524 as amended is passed, then it shall be in order for the chair of the Committee on Energy and Commerce or his designee to move that the House insist on its amendments to S-524 and request a conference with the Senate thereon.
You've now heard the motion from the gentlewoman, the vice chairman of the committee from North Carolina. Is there amendment or discussion? Gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment to the rule. I move the committee make an order and give the necessary waivers for an amendment to S-524, consisting of the text of H.R. 5189, the Democratic Alternative Opiate Bill, that in addition to including all the opiate bills passed by the House this week, also provides $600 million in desperately needed funding to ensure that this package has a real impact on the growing opiate epidemic. And I would just refer you to my opening remarks so I don't have to debate this.
Great. Discussion. Gentleman's recognized.
Where's the $600 million come from?
We have a list right here that I'm happy to provide the gentleman. That's all I'll get for you. Where's the paper? First year, you want me to read them all for you? Would you like to do that?
Sure, however you want to say it.
Well, I'm happy to give you the.
You can count it to me if you'd rather do that.
I'm happy with the first year. Well, I'm happy to give you this. It's a long list.
Gentleman's
Would you like to have this, or would you want me to read it?
Well, why don't you just pass it down to me? I can read it.
Yeah, there it is. But it.
I'd like to see it too. If you can make copies for the entire committee, I'd appreciate it. As a result, the gentleman asked a question, but he has chosen to provide in writing that copy that will be presented to our awesome stenographer, and it would be considered as read by the committee. Is there further discussion? The vote will now be on the amendment from the gentleman from Massachusetts. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. No. Noes have it, noes have
As
it.
for a roll call.
Gentleman asks for a roll call vote.
Ms. Fox? No. Ms. Fox? No. Mr. Cole? No. Mr. Cole? No. Mr. Woodall? Mr. Woodall? No. Mr. Burgess? Mr. Burgess? No. Mr. Stivers? Mr. Stivers? No. Mr. Collins? Mr. Collins? No. Mr. Byrne? No. Mr. Byrne? No. Mr. Newhouse? No. Mr. Newhouse? No. Ms. Slaughter? Aye. Ms. Slaughter? Aye. Mr. McGovern?
Aye.
Mr. McGovern? Aye. Mr. Hastings? Mr. Polis? Mr. Polis? Aye. Mr. Chairman?
No.
Mr. Chairman, no.
Clerk report total.
3 yeas, 9 nays.
The amendment's not agreed to, not agreed to. Further amendment or discussion? Seeing none, the vote will now be on the motion from the gentlewoman from North Carolina. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. The ayes have it, the ayes have it. Accordingly, the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Collins will be handling this for Republicans. Oh, the birthday boy?
Birthday boy.
Oh. So this is the celebration. So this is the gift he gets that keeps on giving.
The gift we get to come together with.
Is there pie in the back?
You know what? I will tell you, for doing this, there will be. Well, we did that one time. And you know we were after it. I know. You know what? Thank you very much. I must say that both you and Mr. Collins, I'd like to see you. I know I speak with Louise. We'd really like to talk about what we're getting ready to do as a thoughtful, favorable idea for the American people. And you guys working together on the floor on behalf of this committee, at least one time out of whatever, I'd like for it to be glaringly apparent to the American people. I tried the other night. I think there were other people who spoke very favorably about these opportunities, ideas, and Jared, birthday boy, I'm delighted that you're gonna get this opportunity again, and thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
before we leave, I do want to ask just a moment of personal privilege, because we do spend a lot of times, we've talked about it in this committee, how we spend a lot of time up here, and we spend a lot of time going, and there's just certain times, especially for all of us, we get on that plane. And for me, it is always the good time to come up here and serve the people of the ninth, but also to go home, because in the audience today, I have the one that I go home to, and that is my bride, Lisa, is here today. And also with her is Tina Riley, who's from my office in the district, and Connie Daniels, who is the principal at the school where Lisa teaches. And I just wanted to say that I'm glad to have them there, and I'm glad to look over and see my wife.
Well, congratulations and thank you. Connie and Tina, it will be no surprise to you that Lisa was unable to attend a dinner that I had one night, but Lisa, your husband was there, and he sat in between my wife, Karen, and Mr. Stiver's wife, Karen, and he should turn red. My wife ended up saying, I think Karen and I had the most fun we'd ever had, but I think that's a lonely guy. And so I just want you to know that he did an awesome job, that he does a great job on this committee, and I do recognize he comes up here early and sometimes gets home late, but that you have an awesome husband and a guy who has served this nation well, not only with the United States military, but up here also, and we admire him very, very much. So it doesn't happen often where wives show up here. We have a few children occasionally. Jared's son, my sons have been up here, but you're married to a great young man. Thank you for taking time to be. Well, Tina, you're entitled to your own opinion. You're entitled to your own opinion. And were you seeking a vote on that? So, Lisa, listen, thank you very much. Your husband really is up here as much as he says he is. And he's a good guy, and this committee is better because of him. And we do recognize our families who we miss a lot are that way.
Mr. Chairman, could I take a moment?
Gentlewoman's right. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't get here Monday, but I want to tell you, I learned something incredibly important to all of us, and I want to share it with you. I was flying to Washington on Southwest Airlines. We get on the plane, there's a hydraulic problem, and we sit there for 3 hours, and then they cancel the flight. So I got to know everybody on the plane. And I found the two women who were flying to Denver. Now, remember, I live on the watery coast of the United States. The only thing you go over from my city is Canada. These ladies were flying to Denver, Colorado.
I like them already.
They had to go from Rochester to Tampa to do it. And then I ran into people from the district who were going to Iceland for a week over, and they had to come here to go. Everybody that I talked to was flying all over heck. Apparently, where I live, it is totally impossible to go west unless you go to Charlotte first. So I know that if women were in charge of the airlines, we would save a lot of money. We get people where they need to go a heck of a lot quicker. But I just wanted to share that with you. If you ever wonder what's happened to the airline business, that some poltergeist or somebody is making out the schedules because they don't make a whit of sense. I missed you terribly, and I just wanted to know that I wasn't lollygagging around the district. I was
No, I didn't
desperately
think it, but
trying
I
to
could
get
tell you
here.
went to the hairdresser.
Yes, I know it. They look like that till in the morning.
Well, I think you're awesome, and I think you were missed,
I appreciate it.
and most of all, your team did a great job when you weren't here.
They always do.
But we also, since we're having so much family hour here, we need to admit, our dear colleague Alcee Hastings is sick with the flu.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, and Judge Hastings is at home. I'm sure he's watching C-SPAN
Well,
now.
why ever not? I mean, this is the most popular show on television.
Is that comedy or real life or
Yeah,
what is
tell me
it?
the truth, doesn't everybody want to discuss it with you?
But really, we need to also know, and Lisa, we do have another colleague, he normally sits right in between Mr. Post and Mr. McGovern, but he is a young man from Florida, a cool guy, and he is sick today, so we miss Judge Hastings,
Indeed,
indubitably,
indubitably.
yeah. So, anything more from the defense over here? Anybody want to defend themselves? No? Okay. Listen, thank you very much. I do admit and recognize, and I think we know this, next week is going to be an interesting week.
You sure?
Yes, I am sure. You need to get on that Southwest Airlines bird a little bit earlier. It needs
Let's
not
just
to
make
have.
sure it goes, yeah.
Yeah. We've got NDAA at least next week, at least NDAA. And it is going to, as I was over here in the office maybe yesterday or the day before, the line was down and round. And I didn't know if I'd died and they were showing up to be nice to me or what, but a long
Couldn't
line.
tell.
I couldn't tell, but well, everybody was smiling,
Yeah.
see?
Oh, Pete, come
So,
on.
but anyway, hundreds of amendments. It will offer our staff a lot of opportunity this weekend. So I just want to say thank you to the staff. We'll try and get out of here, but thank you for the hard work you're getting ready to do, because I know it's going to be a real chore. So thank you to everybody. Let's get some sleep this weekend, see if we can come back and get ready for a new time. Thank you very much. This ends our hearing for the week.